Welcome back to the Union 0430. It is not all of us again. Dave, the Dark Cloud, is God knows what he's doing this time, but he's solving some problem somewhere. But we are lucky enough that we have anybody that's in Ontario knows the name and they know the face. So we've got Barry Keicks on with us tonight, coming into us from Morrisburg, Ontario, and everybody knows his name. If you don't, it's time to get out from underneath that rock. But as usual, we've got the lads on. We've got Mark still isolating down in Newfoundland, down in God's country. Ryan, close to God's country. I like that. Well timed.
He's in heaven now. I've been holding on to this beer for the last 20 minutes while we were offline, waiting to go like a top of this. Continue.
And Philly in the dirty schwa, rocking some Dixie Decoy Waterman Company swag.
Very nice.
Yeah.
In that old school camo.
This is probably the only one in Canada.
Ooh, Philly's. That's a flex. That's what the kids call a flex.
Find out after.
Yeah.
That's what the kids call a flex. Everybody, it's great. We've been such an awesome day today. Here in Eastern Ontario, the weather is coming, starting to see lots more birds moving. We'll talk to Barry about some snow geese that's coming through. We finally recorded episode 3 of the How to Learn to Call a Short Reed Goose Call with Rusty Heron from Heron Game Calls today. Out at my duck pond doing some work on that. It's been an all-around great day. The vitamin D is doing us all wonders. And here we are once again. And this is episode 43, fellas, of the Union. So things are kicking along good. How is everybody? That was a really long intro on my part. So how's everybody doing? Barry, how are you, buddy?
It's just living the dream down here, buddy.
Yeah.
No, seriously, can't complain, man. Life is good. Life is good down here. So,
Mark, how's everything back home, buddy? The southwest wind haven't got the earth blowed off you yet?
No, it's been an awesome few days here. The sun has just been shining. We're at 13 to 15 degrees every day, and I'm getting out in the backyard and finding some odds and ends. You know, it's a big backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, there's three lefties here behind me, so
that's awesome.
The righties are out there somewhere to be found.
That's awesome. Ryan, how's everything in Nova Scotia, buddy? You guys are on your spring thaw now, eh?
Yeah, there's like no snow on the ground now. It's pretty much similar to Mark. Like we were like, I think 16 today. Sunny is nice. We got it's gonna dip down for the weekend, of course. And we're supposed to get some rain, but I'll take rain over snow. So
Philly, we didn't have you on last week, which was a shame because I know you were out protecting the good people of the T-Dot and all that. So
and eating cake.
And eating cake, and that's not a judgment whatsoever. But listen, we never got a chance to talk to you about your extra goose season, and never got a chance to ask you how that all went. So before we get going with Barry, how did I know I got a phone call from you the day before when you were planning?
Yes.
So how did everything go, buddy?
Yeah, we had, so the opening day, myself and another guy, we've got like adjoining permission. So we've obviously become buddies as a result, right? Work together as opposed to against each other. So we were scouting scouting a flock of like 1,000, 1,200 geese, and we were on them for like 2 weeks, and they'd just like be back and forth between, you know, his side of the fence, my side of the fence. It was just back and forth. So like literally the last minute, the last hour there on the Friday, we're like, right, yeah, birds are primarily hitting your side, so that's where we'll set up. And we got out there and we got poured on all morning. Like I didn't even touch the camera. We got soaked. There's 5 of us out there, and we got our 50 in a couple hours. I think we're done at 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 we had our 50. But then like there was all this warm weather pushing through, so then all the snow was melting, and all the birds were going like from this to we go everywhere.
Yeah.
So like, and then you're chasing birds around and stuff. So
How are they working though, Philly?
I was off like 2/3 of it.
No,
So-
like how are the birds working?
Oh, that morning it was straight pass shooting. We didn't have a whole lot like fully commit. It was just tough setup and whatnot and wind direction. So,
Right.
and then I went out a couple days later again. I went on my side of the fence with a buddy, and we banged off a bunch each. But yeah, like the warm spell just kind of buggered things up, at least where we
Yeah.
were. But
Yeah.
you know what? Put a couple more in the freezer, some more jerky made. So
I was talking to Rusty Heron today, and he was asking me, you know, what's it like up in Kingston? I said, oh, it's good. The past 2 weeks, been really seeing a lot of birds. And he was like, you're really just getting them like 2 weeks ago? And I said, yeah, I'd say probably around 2 weeks ago we started seeing you know, the big flocks flying by. And he was telling me about a week before that late season goose hunt started, he said there wasn't a time that he couldn't walk out his door and look up and not see like thousands of birds flying by. He said he's never seen anything like it this time of year. It was ridiculous. So lots of birds, which means, you know, one of two things, in my opinion. It means that cottagers and people within the city are going to be upset because there's all these birds and there's going to be no change to the bag limits. And, you know, and we'll be back to that old argument again, where some people think that Canadian or the Canada goose is a protected animal here. And
that's Canada's bird.
It's our national bird.
National bird.
It's on the loony, man.
I love it. Barry, I don't know what, Mark?
Right.
It's on
Did you
the
already say it?
It's on the loony?
Duh.
Think about that.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Day late and $1 short.
yeah. Right over. Barry, I'm not sure if you knew it, but Mark and Ryan and I were talking about it before you came on. But we all met probably back in, I don't know, probably around 2014, I would think, as we came down to your neck of the woods. Yeah. And we're at the South Nation Delta Waterfowl dinner. Still to this day, it is the dinner that I compare all dinners to, both DU and Delta, because I think it is the best dinner that I've ever been to, for meal and for the prizes and just the way the atmosphere of the room is, and everybody's just having a good time. But I would hazard to say that South Nation dinner is probably one of the bigger ones in Ontario, eh?
Yeah, for a while it was. You know, now Kenny Power runs a terrific dinner. Like Kenny Power's probably, you know, you want to say he drives the issue really well, realizes the value of entertainment. Yep. Plus the value of fundraising. So, you know, Kenny's right there. What we always did is, you know, where we are, hey, we like to joke about it, but we're just a bunch of dumb farmers, you know, and there certainly isn't a big, you know, a lot of wealthy people in our area, just common folk. So we always tried to do with that dinner is, you know, the bottom line is always nice. Hey, that's a good thing about Delta. You get some back. Everybody knows that. But we always made sure, you know, we always tried to make sure somebody gets out of there with something, you know, and, you know, our costs are probably a little bit higher than they should be. But what we are able to do is, in a lot of the chapters like that now too, it makes a darn easy ticket sale. You know, generally we could sell out, you know, a couple of weeks, you know, and people have been coming back there for 15 years. It's been that successful. Yeah.
I don't know who the master of ceremony is. So I got two funny stories about that dinner. The first one is, I don't know who the MC was, but a buddy of ours, Marion Josa, was at the dinner with us, and Marion won, I don't know how many things. He won a bunch of stuff. And whoever the master of ceremonies was, he'd draw out his name and he'd look, and Marion is spelled MJIORN, right? Something like that.
No. MIR JON.
Yeah. MIRJON, right? Marion, and then Josa, GJOZA, right?
No.
So
is it, okay, is it? All right. See, this is, we've known him for years. We can't even spell his name. So imagine somebody who doesn't know him trying to pronounce it.
I don't know who would back then, because it's the same as everything.
And I can remember, like, they'd pull out the name and they'd be like, and Marion would just go, "Yeah, it's me right here," because he was the only one in the audience with a last name that couldn't be pronounced. And my other funny story, and this is now because I introduced this guy to Kenny Power, who uses them at his dinner. The DU guys use them at their dinners here in Kingston, is Chad Simmons. And remember that, Barry? So the auctioneer didn't show up that night for the dinner.
Okay, you were back in Chrysler. Oh yeah.
Chrysler.
Well, no, what happened there is the auctioneer showed up. Nobody noticed him, and he's a cocky little bugger. He got his shit in an uproar, felt everybody's ignoring him, screwed off. So he was there. He screwed off. So what we had to do is, one of their young guys, Carter Hanna. Boy, there's a kid that can hunt, Carter Hanna. But anyways, his buddy Chad just finished his auctioneer course. So we got on the horn, and that's how Chad got his start there.
Yeah, I remember that. He was like, I was just at home chilling, playing Xbox, getting ready to cut into some beer, and then like, want to go auction a Delta dinner? Or DU dinner? Oh, okay, sure, okay.
Because I helped him with the items. You go, geez, boys, I don't hunt, but if I'd hunt, I want one of these.
That's right.
I remember the best saying I remember him saying was, he was like, "Listen, guys," he said, we're at $80 right now for this. You're gonna go to Walmart tomorrow and spend more than that on junk. So why don't you just buy this? And I was like, this guy is awesome. And when I was part of that Thousand Islands chapter, we brought him in, and he's been doing a great job. Except that one year he didn't come. Remember, we had Lance Holmes. Lance Holmes done the auction.
I was the RD. I was the RD that year. Yeah.
Remember that, boys? Yeah. Mark, you and Ryan were there.
I think I erased it from my memory intentionally.
I remember that.
Yeah, Lance. So, anyways, it was fun. Sorry,
everything Lance does is memorable.
Lance, for those who don't know who Lance Holmes is, he is a walking, talking human cartoon character. That is the best way to describe Lance Holmes. You don't meet Lance Holmes, you will experience.
We're gonna have to get Lance on.
It's like Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, I say.
Well, I say you sharp as a bowling ball.
Yeah, the most Canadian guy in Canada.
The most upper Canadian guy.
Yeah.
Barry, I did want to touch another thing with that chapter is I know there has been a ton of youth programs that have modeled themselves off of what you guys do. You guys have an amazing program that sells out every year. You know, tell us a little bit about, the program, why it's
Yeah.
so successful in your area.
Well, geez, first off, we are super fortunate. Can't stress how fortunate we are. South Nation Conservation Local CA in our area actively promotes hunting. Like what
Mhm.
they even do is, I forget how many acres they have, but they open up 5,000 acres, 5 to 7,000 acres of hunting. You just have to give them, I think, $100 fee, and they open up the hunting.
Yep.
So they're heavy into promoting, and what they do every year, they give us $2,000. So right then, plus what we were able to do from the dinner, we were able to put on, at one time Delta thought it was a little bit too extravagant, but then they saw the results. So what we do is, we petition for 10 kids throughout the watershed. And what we do is bring in a firearm instructor, hunter's ed instructor, give them their course. Yeah, yeah. Originally, we're really altruistic about it. We want that kid that the parents don't hunt, whatnot. Well,
Mhm.
guess what? In Eastern Ontario, 90% of the people hunt, but we still promoted the program, and so, they get the 2 courses, an activity day. We bring in CEOs, biologists, members from, Larry Smith, probably one of the best archers and archery hunters in Canada, comes in, does an archery demonstration, dog demonstration. Then when everything's said and done, the next Saturday, we bring them out onto a goose hunt. So, before the Rona shut us down, I think the last event, I'm going to go out and limb, it's either 120 or 130 kids have gone through the program. So,
That's crazy.
and what's really, really cool, that Carter Hanna kid that I talked about, one
Mhm.
of the first participants, and Carter's not the only one. One super goose guide goes out west every year, guides around here. Yeah, and the guys I hunt with are early 20 somethings that came up to the program, so it works. It's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty proud of that. The guys do a good job.
Yeah, no, and it's amazing because you're being able to, I guess you're able to see it right from the beginning and then see it to the point now where they are your hunting buddies and they're competent hunters, right? Like you're not having to hold their hands anymore. And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and I know Mark and Ryan were heavily involved in the Ottawa Valley Youth Hunt, and
yeah,
another amazing program as well. Um,
yep.
and I think that's, that activity day that you talk about, and I know Mark and them done the same thing with the COs, and there's a lot more to it than just sitting in that blind and pulling the trigger on some Canadas that's working, right?
Oh
Or some
yeah.
ducks or what. There's a lot of work, and it takes a fairly big commitment from the kids to
Oh
see
yeah,
it through.
yeah, yeah. It does. Like the kids have to sign a waiver, and geez, it's tough because I had kids go through AAA hockey. Guess what goes on now in August? Tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't have the kids say, well, I only can do this part. They have to sign a waiver, and they have to attend. Hey, covers our rear end, but also really gives the kids a sense of responsibility. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
important.
holds them accountable.
Yeah. People are counting on me to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Uh,
works out well. And as far as the COs, can't say enough about those guys. Phenomenal. And the best part about it is it's not like, oh geez, probably my generation worse than yours, but the cops, the cops were always, holy Jesus Christ, what's the cops doing now? But we integrate the COs right with them. A COE goes out on the goose hunt with them, shoots, hunts. It's just phenomenal,
Wow.
And what I like to think about is that has really bred a real highly ethical bunch of young guys out there. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
And
You don't hear of any, trespassing from these guys, no birds in the ditches. Can't say enough. Solid
yeah.
guys. Solid guys and girls. Yeah.
And that's something I really want to, when I asked you about coming on the show and you were like, oh, I'm not sure anybody wants to hear anything from me. And
Well, old timey stories. Yeah.
but, even more so today, and we've talked about it a bunch of times on this show, Mark, Ryan, Dave, Phil, all of us. And and I know I never had the luxury of being mentored as a hunter. I sort of, learned as I went, and I did. I made some mistakes, and I was a bonehead teenager that was a hunter and stuff like that. But when you're able to take part in a program that's structured and everybody buys in, and as we say in the Army, drinks the Kool-Aid, if everybody's buying in right off the start, you've got kids that are ethical. They're not being idiots. They're respecting the land. And how many times have we talked on this show about people that just don't respect the landowners anymore, and they just they feel that they're entitled to do whatever the hell they want. I think these youth hunts is something that's that we need to see more of.
Oh yeah, for sure. The way I like to look at it, it doesn't take Einstein to shoot a goose, but it takes a bit of character to do it right.
Oh,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Did anybody see, and you brought up the COs, and it sort of got something that reminded me. I didn't read the article today, but there was an article today about that the COs are having trouble recruiting right now. And that was the headline. Shortage in conservation officers may, ultimately end up hurting the community, the hunting community, because it will 100%. If there's no COs, it's gonna hurt the hunting community 100%. But I didn't know if Mark or Phil or Ryan, if you guys had read it. It showed up on my Facebook feed today, and I'm just curious on what they were saying. But I do know that they've been recruiting the last 4 or 5 months. They've been recruiting hard for new blood in there.
Well, I know there's a bunch of guys they never hired for years, and now there's a bunch of guys my age are starting to bail. So yeah.
Which is, normally the same way with the RCMP, the same way with all these jobs, right? They don't hire for a bunch of years, and then all of a sudden, we're going to lose 30% of our workforce. We better start doing some recruiting.
Well, shit. What's the first government department that doesn't get any budgetary help? And Ministry of Natural Resources, and ergo the COs. Like a good friend of mine, John Clements. He was a head enforcement a few years ago, and it's just a constant political battle trying to get your funding and even bodies in the trucks. Not good.
Yeah. With COs, your positions are entirely regional, right?
Yeah.
So they offer a position in the Pembroke office. They offer a position in such and such office here, there, wherever. Yeah. So when positions pop up, they're in those areas. So someone has to be available in those areas with the qualifications they're looking for,
or willing to relocate, right?
Or willing to relocate to apply for that job. I also seen something else where they're starting out with some sort of. It starts out with like a 1-year contract.
Okay.
I don't know if you know anything about that, Barry. Did you see anything
No,
about that?
That's a new one on me.
So something starts out with a 1-year contract to start. Like if I'm going
probation,
if I'm going to leave my job, because I would love to be a CO.
Yeah.
If I'm going to leave my job, it better be for a permanent job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave for a 1-year contract.
There better be some sense of security behind it.
Yeah, that's something I really couldn't tell. I just assumed a lot of them come from Fleming.
Yeah.
Wildlife and fish biology. I looked at that at one time, and just law enforcement. Because there's a few complaints that the CEOs aren't sports people anymore. They're just ticket raters, and I don't see that. But and I think that was going back to girls coming out of the law enforcement programs in college.
Yeah, I'd find it hard to believe, like, you've got to want to be in the outdoors in order to be a CO. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's some phenomenal young guys like Owen Fraser. Like, that guy gets it. He is good. He understands the sport, understands the people doing it.
Yeah.
At the same time, boy, he's got no problem coming down, and you're pretty good when you do screw up, and rightly so.
Yeah. So. Yeah, absolutely. Philly, buddy, you're awful quiet tonight.
Chill, man.
How many beers in are you?
None. None.
Oh.
We're on a, I wouldn't say a hiatus, but we're trying to tone her back a little bit. Yeah.
Getting ready for Grey's Anatomy, eh?
Trailer season.
Oh,
That's what I'm getting ready for.
you're trying to slim down for trailer season, right?
Yeah. That's a rough go come summertime.
I would love to see you at the RV park.
Oh God, buddy, I got a golf cart.
I bet you do.
Just fucking booze cruise all day long. Oh, it's bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for the park to open. I think we're less than 50 days out.
Usually opens on May 2 for a weekend, right?
No, we're like first weekend in May or so.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So can't wait.
What are you seeing for numbers down there on snow geese, Barry?
I'd say 2 weeks ago, I'm probably in the western end, where I am.
Yeah.
We see them early and late, that's the way we look at it. Whenever we see them in the fall, the season's pooched because they're getting ready to boogie. And then when we're about to first step up, probably from the Finger Lakes, and then they continue east. 2 weeks ago, like I had probably 5,000-6,000 behind the house.
Wow.
On that real cold weekend we had. As soon as it warmed up, they boogied out. And I haven't heard a lot from the guys how Dave Roy or any guys are doing down Baynesville area, Lancaster area.
Yeah.
But this, it gets this warm, they're going to follow the snow line, and if the guys want to come, they better get in the phone and book some hunts.
Yeah, I did see on Facebook today one of the guides is saying that they're 2 weeks early than what normal, and they're here now. He's in Quebec. They're here now, so I think if you want to get in on a snow goose hunt, you need to be be sitting out there now, as opposed to that first week in April.
Yeah, the silver lining right now too is you don't got to wade mud up to your arsehole to shoot a snow goose. You might be able to tell I'm not a big proponent of snow goose hunting, but
well, I get asked every year to go on a snow goose hunt, and I really do. Like, I'd love to go, and it's usually with a good buddy of mine, Nathan White, asks me every year to go, and I'd love to go with him, but like, goddamn white devils, like.
I'll take your place. I'll go.
No, you won't. No, you won't, Phil, because you always says you're going to take us somewhere, and you never invites us. Never invite us, Phil. You're all talk.
I'm just saying, I haven't seen the inside of your boat either.
Touche. Well played.
Phil, you come home with me anytime you want.
God
there
bless
you go.
God
I just spent too many years out west.
Yeah.
We actually can shoot the damn things.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, she's
I just want to kill one, just one fucking.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, Jesus, boy.
We had a pair. We actually had a pair here in Oshawa this past fall.
Yeah.
And they were in my field, and I just didn't get onto them, and then they bugged out.
Yeah.
When we were out west, Ryan, we never. I don't know if you've seen it last year when you were guiding out west, but the year that you and I were out there, we never seen that big vortex of like 10,000 birds. We seen a lot of snow geese and we shot them, but we never seen that monster vortex of snows when we were out there, right?
No, we never really got we never got to really crush into a big flock, right? Like, and for whatever reason, they're a little more challenging in Saskatchewan. Alberta, they just seem to decoy a little bit better, but in Saskatchewan, I mean, they're there like in vast numbers, but I mean, you got to really be on your A game to like get like big numbers to set in the decoys. So
yeah,
I mean, it can be done, but it's like attention to detail is just.
Well, like I remember that night you and I scouted with Daryl Gilbert. Like, we found the field. We were like, this is where they are. And we went in the next morning and set up it felt like 10 million fucking snow goose decoys. and they just didn't. They were like, nope, we're not coming over. And we shot some, but we were getting, you know, like 100 or 200. But like the 10,000 of them, we could see them. They just weren't coming over to their field. Like they are a finicky bird, man.
No.
Yeah.
What are they hunted 10 months out of the year?
Yeah, they're probably the most pursued bird out of the whole waterfowl scale too. That's the other thing,
Yeah.
right? Like
Well, even
all
the
the way
10
up,
months.
all the way down, and then they have a conservation hunt all the way back up. Like they're
Mhm.
just I mean, you know, the year, not last year, the year before I went out there, the juvie hatch was shit. Like
Yeah, I
they
heard that.
barely had it. So guys were not having a high success rate because those juvies, I mean, they kind of, you know, they help your boat keep afloat, so to speak. So, but yeah, so I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Snow geese, white devils. That's what are called that.
El Diablo.
First one I
Blanco.
ever shot was banded.
Really?
No way. I've never
Yeah.
seen a band of snow goose.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Greater too. I was on that hunt.
Mhm.
And we had a flock of
6.
6 come in. Like
Yeah, you were on the right. Yeah.
I was on the right, and they went to the left. And you and Matt Neville ended up shooting them. He got one, and you got one. Yours was banded. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I remember that.
That's awesome.
Jan's gun jammed.
Yeah. Too bad for him. That might have been his bird.
He would have missed it anyways.
Probably would have missed it.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, you know, Barry, part of the reason why I asked you to come on is because, you know, like when I even done the introduction and I said, you know, most people in Ontario know your name, know your face, especially, you know, if they didn't know your name or your face before, when you went on as the regional director for Delta Waterfowl, you pretty much touched every friggin' town in Ontario there for that 10 months. You know, so you did get to know a lot of people within the waterfowling community here in Ontario.
Great people too. Mm.
And I wanted to talk to you about two things on that. I wanted to talk to you about the volunteers that you've met over your time with Delta. And then I just wanted to talk to you a little bit more about, you know, what you've seen over you know, your waterfowling career. So I guess really the volunteers with Delta and it doesn't matter, like Delta, but whatever organization. But in your experience with Delta, you know, like how I spoke with Billy Duggan the other day.
Out west? Yep.
Yeah. And Billy Duggan's a big DU guy, and people on the east coast of Canada know Billy Duggan all the pieces. And what he's saying is that he's noticing that the younger generation they don't get the idea of volunteer work anymore. It's starting to lose its luster. And I'm wondering how can we make volunteer work, you know, popular again, I guess, when it comes to the waterfowl community.
Yeah, geez, if I knew that, I'd have a crystal ball, you know, and I'd be down in Bismarck, North Dakota, making policy instead of Iroquois cutting grass. But I don't know, man. You know, Jesus, I turned into that old gray kind of codger guy. But I was listening to an interview, and it was Roger Daltrey of the Who of all people, and he said the biggest problem worries him right now, and boy, it's true. He said the kids now spend too much time looking down, don't spend enough time looking up. So, you know, the darn phones are just, you know, they're just brain candy.
Yeah.
You know, and geez, this is gonna, I hope I'm not getting too deep because I ain't a deep person, but you just become so insular. You know, you got your same little group of friends, and especially now, the last few years, you're not out meeting people, you're not out socializing. So, you know, geez, it's just such a tough deal. Memberships down in hockey, memberships down in all types of minor sports. You know, we're just becoming more and more insular, you know, and and it's not the kids' fault. kids are no different now than they were in 1500. It's how, it's how we're exposing them, and geez, I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure where we're going to be in 10 years, it, but there again, like with our program, maybe all it takes is, just a bunch of folks who kind of grab them by the ears and away you go. Hey,
Yeah.
and that being said, I got 3 kids. One kind of hunts, hates getting up in the morning, and the other 2 have 0 interest in it. It's just, there's no easy answer.
No.
All you can do is make yourself available, and geez, maybe I got to the point now I don't need to shoot any more birds. Saw lots of bird shots, haven't shot that many myself because I'm a shitty shot. But, all it takes is, if that, a kid down the road might have some interest, bring them along, and then once they get excited about it, maybe then, they'll get interest in volunteering. I don't know. It's just different times. So
It is different times, and I agree. I don't think there's a real quick and easy answer. Other than I think it's our responsibility to try and I don't know if entice is the right word, but we owe it, and they don't realize it yet, right? Because obviously, and I was the same way at 15 years old. There was one thing on my there was 2 things on my mind. At 15, 16 years old, and volunteering and putting up wood duck boxes and stuff was not one of them.
No, I think, Damien, not to cut you off, but I think all you can do is, make sure it's available. Because, dude, there is no busier time in your life by the time you're 25 to 40. Man, it just goes by in a blur. But, if you can get somebody interested in, now you want to say the workings of it all, maybe once they get some time when they're in their 40s, then they come back to it, and geez, because it's just so hard to find time. And, the biggest thing is just get the kids involved, maybe down the road. Yeah, sure. If they're the right kind of person, sure.
Fellas, who did we have on a while ago, and we were talking about, the youth programs and stuff like that, and they were saying that they're really starting to see an upswing in parents that typically never ever hunted, but their kids were interested. Their kids sort of got into the youth program, but then the parents got interested. Do you remember who that was?
Oh, no, that was back in the beginning.
Yeah, that was way back, like one of our first, we've been doing these shows for so long now, like it's hard for us to, but that is something that's really curious to see now, and to hear those numbers is, how many, and I'll call them seasoned individuals, how many more of those people are actually getting behind a gun and getting out in the field now? Because it seems like that may be on the upswing.
I think so too. Because, hey, that's a big push for Delta too, is retain the youth program, but try to get the college guys, try to get the 30 somethings, try to get the 40 somethings involved, and and that's probably, all it takes is, just a, hey, you want to tag along. They don't have to shoot. They don't have to do nothing. Well, they can't do nothing legally.
Yeah.
But, hey, if you just, and if you do no more than you expose them to hunting, they won't become an anti-hunter probably, because, we're only, what are we? 7%, 8% of the population.
Pretty small.
There's a lot of folks that don't hunt, and the majority of those folks don't mind us hunting. But,
I know the program that me and Mark used to be involved with in the Ottawa Valley. I bet you 70% of the kids that came through that were from families that had no previous hunting experience.
And that's perfect.
Which is great. That's what we want. We want to appeal to the the generation that doesn't have that mentorship naturally or organically. But one of the cool things about it is when we would throw a family day, which would be like, we would invite, it's pretty much like an open house theme. Obviously the kids who are in the program are the focus, but we open it to their moms and dads, their grandparents, brothers and sisters, whoever they want to bring. And we run them through like shooting out of a layup line. They get to go on the range and shoot skeet. We do a calling seminar. They have somebody running dogs. Like we get the full gambit, the full meal deal. And I mean, the kids are really shy and awkward, and because there's so many people and it's all about them. But man, some of the parents are just like eating it up. Like me and Mark would run stations, and we would just like, the kids would come in, do their thing, and they would leave, and then the parents would stay behind for like 5-10 minutes and just ask us questions about the boat, or the dogs, or the calls, or whatever, right? And then that's how it happens. And then you get a kid who goes through the program who loves it, but they don't have the programmer. They're like 13 years old. They can't go up by themselves. Well, who's going to take them out? Well, Dad grabs his rubber boots and his olive drab rain jacket and said, all right, let's go give this a shot.
Yeah, perfect. And better yet, if the mother goes.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, if you got a mother or a sister that hunts, I'll bet you my last dollar the whole family hunts.
That gives you an excuse to buy more guns.
Amen.
The things that really interest, like I'm really interested in the psychology of things, and when you had touched on, Barry, and you said, you know, that 25 to 40 time frame where everything just goes by in a blur, and the world is a rat race. You know, I wonder, you know, when you get those 35-year-olds and these people that, you know, got a young kid that's looking and getting in the hunt, I wonder, does something click in their head and go, you know what, I'm working more than 40 hours out of the week. I'm supposed to only be working 40 hours out of the week, but work follows me home, and I'm commuting to work, and I'm wondering if, you know, some of these people go, you know what, like I've got to do, I've got to be more than just an employee. There's got to be more to life than just working Monday to Friday, and then the weekend is laundry and chores. You know what I mean? So
I know, and it's easy getting that rut, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Monday to Friday, what's that?
Yeah. Well, preaching,
bro.
Yeah.
7 and 7, man.
Hey, at least he's not a firefighter, guys. All right.
24 hours.
I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore.
Quarantine Carl here.
As soon as you become a shift worker, it's just like, what day is it?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Groundhog Day every day.
It's like being on a deployment. Like, it's just like every day is Monday.
The check's always there.
Yeah.
I know tomorrow's Friday because Dad is bringing me Mary Brown's.
Son of a bitch.
You're really suffering back there, eh?
Someone's got to do it, eh?
Jesus, I'm looking at
hard done by.
I see some of the food that he's been eating, and I'm like, what?
Friggin'. He's feeding on Mary Browns and fish cakes, tripping over moose sheds. Like, we might have the easiest quarantine in the history of this country.
Yeah.
I don't know, boys. That time I spent in Iraq, you guys eat anything? That tur, like,
oh, that's a horrible bird. No, but
holy Jesus, canned tur. Holy jeez,
bird.
boys.
That's
That black
awful.
seal meat. Oh,
I draw the line at
that's horrible.
seal.
Seal and tur, I can't. I remember.
I can eat seal.
Oh, I can't eat seal. I remember coming home and like walking in the house after school, and Dad to be like frying seal up or something, and I'd walk in the door and I'd smell it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going out to Nan's, and I just drop my book bag off and walk right out to Nan's. I'm like, I'm not even sleeping in this house tonight.
Like what does it smell or taste like?
It's horrid.
So, picture saltwater merganser, but like way worse.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like
God,
the ocean's
it's
version
black
of the
too, right?
Merganser.
Yeah, it's
black
black.
meat. Yeah, black meat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's greasy as hell.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
fish are
It
boiled,
is
yeah.
just absolutely horrible, man.
But Newfoundlanders, you're right, will eat. If it flies or walks
Yeah,
or
Flies, it
swims,
dies.
a Newfoundlander will eat it.
yeah.
Yeah.
At some,
Well,
yeah, they'll
is
figure
that
something.
true now, boys? You got to help me out here.
Yeah,
That's a big deal out in the rock is the merganser season. They worked really hard with Delta to get the merganser season changed so the boys can shoot their mergansers. I'll even
so
talk like
it's funny because Merck about a year ago, and I didn't even know these things existed, but Merck actually found a store in Newfoundland that sells merganser decoys.
So
Yeah.
Coastal Marine out by St. John's. I will be there when I get out of quarantine because it is still a hunting store and fishing store. But they do sell merganser decoys wrapped up in plastic, 6 in a pack.
Good Lord.
now the one lad I was talking to in Port aux Basques said, I don't like to eat the mallards because I know what the mallards do. They're in the barnyard eating the shit out of the cow or the seed out of the cow shit. He said, I'm not eating no mallards. So
Jeez.
That's, I don't know, man.
I mean, he eats the meat that's surrounding the cow shit. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He knows that cow shit's used on the carrots he had for his supper, right? Like,
yeah,
that's how the
that's a
cycle works, I
flawed.
hope.
That's a flawed theory
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
But turs, I'm not a big tur fan. Where I'm from, we don't get turs in big numbers, so it's not a big thing for us. Out around where America's from, turs are big.
yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
When
There's not many
I
people at that anymore.
no, when I tried it, that was like in 07 when I was there. They didn't hunt it. There was the guys who were on the fishing boats, and they had the big spotlights going at night on the boat on the mast.
Yeah.
And it would attract the birds, and they would literally fly into the mast, and it would fall. They'd break their necks, fall dead on the bow. So they'd be like, scoop them up, throw them in the back, rain and tur. Like they didn't hunt for them.
Rain and tur. That's
Rain
awesome.
Good Lord. Spotlight and turs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez,
For-
that
for-
evolved, went from kids to tur.
Yeah.
And,
And for everybody that's listening and wondering what the hell a tur is, the proper name is myrrh, right?
Murr, M-U-R-R-E.
Yeah.
MERS, TERS, same thing.
Yeah.
But you gotta really, if you want to understand why people eat that, you gotta go back a ways when supermarkets weren't a thing here. They're not that far back, but far enough back. Supermarkets weren't a thing. And if you know anything about the island of Newfoundland, it's not exactly game rich. Moose weren't introduced until 1904 or 1906.
Yeah. And the
That was-
first
that was in the moose
first
systems.
introduction failed, right?
Yeah, so they introduced them again.
Yeah.
And then the moose population in Newfoundland came from 4 animals.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
4
These things
animals.
look like a flying fucking penguin.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so for people they used every resource they could to find ways to put food on the table, put meat on the table, and everything else. So
Not
So
a lot of money,
essentially-
eh, Mark? Eh?
no,
Wow.
not back then. And so turs were food on the table, just like a lot of other things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, looks like a flying penguin.
Does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's one for you because I really don't know, and I've never ever heard tell of anybody doing it because I think it's against the law, but I'm sure at some point in time. But puffins, like I'm sure at some point somebody ate a puffin.
No, they did.
I wonder what puffin tastes like.
Probably like tur.
Probably,
Gotta be.
Not like chicken.
Yeah. No.
Boy,
No.
they look good in the wall, though.
I can
Oh,
tell
do
you,
they ever?
chipmunk
Pretty
tastes like
birds.
chicken.
Now see, now
It's a smaller squirrel.
you
Tastes
know,
chicken.
so Barry, you brought that up now, and you talked about in Newfoundland you'd eat anybody from the Rock, they'd eat anything. You know, when I met Lorianne and Stephen Horse and even Lance Holmes, and they told me about squirrel, I was absolutely like I was
that's
flat,
good.
and I was like, you don't eat that, and they were like, yeah, of course we eat. I was like, listen, no. I'm not that gullible. I am not buying into the fact that you eat fucking squirrel. And I know Stephen and Lorianne Horse, they love the stuff.
It's good. It's good. You never been down south and had a fried squirrel and biscuit and white gravy?
No, but
I've had a few other things with biscuit and white gravy.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
squirrel hunting's big in the States.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest, isn't it? That in Doves, I think.
Yeah.
They talk about
Really?
it a lot on the Meat Eater podcast. Listen to that lately.
but is it
Yeah,
a
that's a good
different
podcast.
squirrel? Is it a different squirrel than what we have?
No, it's the gray
Gray
squirrel.
Gray
fox
squirrel.
squirrel.
Yeah,
Big gray fox squirrel, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
they're
Yeah.
the biggest one.
really.
Same
Eh?
things as around here.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, speaking of squirrels, we got flying squirrels at our cottage. Those things are fucking cool.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Those
Yeah,
are
so we-
native. I don't think those are native to Ontario, are they?
Oh.
yeah. Like my parents, like we got a family cottage up in Halliburton. I was up there like, oh Christ, I couldn't tell you how many years ago. I'm sitting out on the deck, just having a beer, nice out, and I catch that like in a corner of my eye, something moved from like one tree to another. I'm like, the hell was that? Whatever, pay no attention. A little while later, like legit, see the little prick and coast from like
That is
one tree to the next. I'm like, that's a fucking flying squirrel.
That is cool.
Oh yeah, they are awesome little things.
That's a sweet animal that has this built-in wingsuit, eh? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
People pay big money for that stuff now.
Little
Yeah.
prick jumped out of the one tree and just poof right over to the next. I'm like, man,
Yeah, they're nocturnal, aren't they? You don't see them in the day too much. I don't know. Probably.
I don't know,
not
Yeah.
sure.
Never seen one.
I don't know. That would freak
But
me
they're-
out though.
but they're cool.
Are they the size of like a little red squirrel, or are they bigger?
Yeah,
like a
they're
gray?
closer to like a red.
Oh, okay,
They're tiny.
I've never seen
Jeez.
one in the wild,
No, me either.
or
Mm.
real life for that matter. But
Yeah,
Never seen one.
they are cool.
I didn't
Speaking of
even.
squirrels,
I didn't even know they were in Ontario. Sorry, Mark.
Neither did
I
I. Like I had to like Google this shit
yes.
They
Speaking
are
of
like-
squirrels,
all over the place.
Yeah.
in my backyard, John's, normally when you find a moose shed, and two of these have been these two over here have been sitting on the ground for at least 2 years, probably more. Usually, all the tips are eaten by squirrels.
Yeah.
These ones aren't even touched. There's not even a nibble on
Hmm.
them. And I haven't seen a squirrel out in the backyard. Not one.
Really.
And the mice
Yeah.
will get into them too.
Yeah.
Well, I know
think
here in Ontario on deer, they say porcupine will absolutely destroy any sheds.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, porcupine. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see
well,
that.
Porcupine, yeah.
yeah, but there's no porcupine in Newfoundland, so
No?
No.
Squirrels, no.
no skunk, no porcupine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, our black bears are some of the largest in the world.
Yeah.
Beavers here are some of the largest in the world. They're their own subspecies because we're on an island that's really far from any mainland, right?
and they're fed
Yeah.
Mary Browns.
Underfed Mary Browns, yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Browns.
Hey,
Mutter brown tin.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
hey. Taters and gravy. You put on weight too if that's all you was eating.
I'm not putting on weight right now.
One of those have a bullet hole in them. Did I see that right, or is just kind of like eroded in the middle?
This one?
I can't. I don't know. I remember when you showed the pictures to us online.
Oh, he was showing, yeah, there's one
It
of
looked
them
like
that's
it
been in
looked
a
like
fight.
someone. It looked like it might have got poked through. Yeah, there it is.
So that's from another moose.
Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah.
Oh, really?
And then there's another one right here. And there's smaller ones. You can barely see them.
That's an old animal there.
This
that,
is an older animal.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
I mean, it's not a gi-
what's
It's not a giant paddle.
He wasn't grown. He was past his prime.
Yeah, I think he's past his prime. He's got this big old brow tine.
yeah,
Yeah.
but look at what's coming off look how big that is coming off the side of his head.
Yeah, he's got good mass on the side. Yeah, that's right.
Like that's an old animal.
I think that's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
And look how clean that looks, eh? Like,
Oh, because it just dropped last winter. This
yeah,
winter.
exactly, right. So that's not. It looks like it's been sitting there for 3 years, but it's. You look at where it's separated from a skull; it's pretty clean.
Have you, Ryan and Barry, and I'm only asking and don't think that it's me being ignorant or anything because you guys probably knew all about it. I just found out about it. But have you ever give a deer shed to your pup?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, no.
Holy smoke! It's like cocaine to them, man. They
Oh,
Don't
love
do it in the house.
I bought one
Oh,
of the
fuck.
like the ones in the store, but I haven't give her a wild one yet.
So my buddy Jamie McAllister, he manages property over on Wolf Island, just outside of Kingston here, and he's got sheds galore, and he's given me sheds, and buddy, it is like crack
Oh, yeah.
to
I
a puppy.
I give him
Dog
to Thor and Zeus too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my parents spoil the shit out of my dogs and my kids. And like if they
Get
come
your
over to
kids'
visit,
antlers?
no, they get like these stupid little Jello cups with fruit in them. That's my mother. Like she'll come in, they'll come over for like a visit one evening for like coffee, and she'll throw the kids each just like a little Jello cup with fruit, and then she'll go to the pet store and buy it. It's just like
Oh, yeah.
like section of antler,
Yeah.
and she'll give it one to each of the dogs, so they'll fuck off and leave her alone.
Wow. And leave the kids right after they get all hopped up on the sugar too, right?
Right?
Yeah. That's what grandparents do.
Get the kids all jacked up and then smoke bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Oh, hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Barry, buddy, as you could tell, we're a little bit all over the place here, and that's the beauty. What we love.
Yeah.
What we love about this show so much. And of course, we're a little bit biased. I cannot thank you enough, buddy, because I know we were really just chatting online, and I've been meaning to ask you a million times about coming on the show, because I really did want to pick your brain, and I do think that for the people that do know you, your voice is valued, especially around these parts. So I cannot thank you enough, buddy, for coming on.
Geez, that's pretty high praise, man. I'm just a dude with a dog and a gun and a couple of plastic decoys. That's all there is to it. So
yeah, and you know what, buddy, and you're right. You are just a dude with a gun and some plastic decoys, but you've really given a lot back to the community over the years, and sometimes there's not enough in this day and age of social media likes and followers. Sometimes there's not enough thanks given to the people that's been doing it for a long time, and it's not looking for the flash and all the accolades. So on behalf of all of us here, and the lads will all say the same thing. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. And I know, especially 2 years ago, you went through you really put the miles on, and you really did put your heart and soul into the job, right? And I can't thank you enough. And I think there's a ton of kids and adults that are around here that can tie their love of waterfowl hunting back to you, and I can't thank you enough, buddy.
Appreciate that, but any RD worth of salt, and you've been there too. Mm-hmm. You're only as good as your volunteers, and that's what it's all about. I was really aware of that. I was a knob in the black truck making money doing this.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'll throw a name out there, Jamie Blanky, just doing all the goodness of his heart.
Yeah.
And as soon as you lose sight of that, man, it's time to get out of that job.
Yeah.
And there's just some great folks out there.
Yeah. So. No, 100%. We'll go around the horn. We'll give you the last word, Barry, but we'll go around the horn and just let the boys close her out. Philly.
Barry, it's great having you on again, and listen to your words of wisdom, and hearing about Delta and whatnot, and it's great to have someone to give them back and such like you do. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, bud.
Ryan.
Yeah, Barry, awesome to have you on, man. And again, to kind of echo what Damien already preached, thanks for everything you've continued to do and what you've done, and just helping out, towards the habitat and the sport that we all, the passion we all share and love. So people like you, it really kind of helps us move forward. So thanks for coming on, and thanks again for everything you do, man.
Wow, cool. Thanks.
Mark.
Hey, Barry, good seeing your mug again. It's good having you on, and obviously echo what the boys say. What you do is amazing for the hunting community and for youth. Having done a little bit of it ourselves, it's very rewarding. So I can only imagine the reward you get from it for how long you've been doing it. So it was good to see you. Good to talk.
Thanks. Yeah.
Barry, last word to you, buddy.
Oh, geez. If I got any pearl of wisdom is, holy geez, whenever you talk, like, geez, the kids now, but I see the difference. Hey, man, this is no joke. We started out cutting tires in half and cutting old pieces of plywood out for the goose heads.
Yeah.
But geez, the kids now just feeling, geez, with all the YouTube videos, and they just feel they got to have a trailer full of fully flocked decoys and the best in calls and a Beretta. Holy geez. Oh, geez. If the kid has no more than a little bit of wanna, a little bit of somebody to help them along the way, that's what it's all about. All the rest is just sugar coating shit, and geez, you got a kid down the street you think might want to go, or one of your landowners has some kids, geez, take them along. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely, buddy.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. No, excellent.
And here
words.
I am wearing my zinc cap. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
But hey, and that's a good hat to have, right? Because that name has been synonymous for so many years.
Yeah, I can't say enough good about Fred and Don Zink. Like
Yeah.
they treated me just like one of the family. Great
Yeah.
folks. Yeah.
Been synonymous with waterfowl hunting. Been doing everything, like, you look at something that comes out of that family, a product.
Mhm.
It's fairly good. Just a shout out to Zinc, because check your inbox, because I've sent you, I'm pretty sure, like 5 or 6 emails now. So let's get somebody on the show here.
I'll see what I can do for you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. No, Barry, thank you once again for coming on, buddy. I meant everything that I said, and I know the boys do as well. What I love so much about this show and about what we've done over the last little bit is how things have come so much full circle for us. How I met you back in 2014. We've hung out together. We've talked hunting over the years. We were, you were with Delta, I was with DU.
Yeah.
We had, as professionals, we were friends. Outside, we were friends. You were even dropping stuff off to me from Pat Heinrichs. You know what I mean? We are a very small, tight-knit community, and we need to without sounding too weird, but we need to bring everybody in and hold this community tight.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that we're going to survive, is we've got to look after one another, and we've got to make sure that we've got each other's best interest in mind whenever we do something, because we are, despite what some people think, we are the minority now.
Oh, geez, by far. Yeah.
And we need to keep this. And the only way that we can keep this lifestyle going is that we have to be positive, and we have to be good people, and we have to be ethical, and we've got to make sure that we portray that we're not a bunch of barbaric savages.
Like, holy geez, like if I can say one other thing, it's
Yeah.
we got to be so cognizant in social media. Geez, there ain't nothing looks better to us that are used to it than, truck bed full of dead birds.
Mhm.
But that person who doesn't hunt, but doesn't mind us hunting, they look at that and, geez, you gotta be so aware of the message we're sending.
Well, and Matty Wilson came on this show a bunch of months ago, and I remember the thing that he said on this show was that he never ever shows a picture of a dead bird anymore.
No, near do I know.
It's always about a picture of the dog, a picture of something cool that happened during the hunt, somebody's face. Do you know what I mean? A reaction. And listen, I'm not saying take away your hero shots or anything like that.
Oh God, no.
Just be careful. And I know Phil, he did get wrapped up around about this, because there were some pretty distasteful pictures that were coming out in the fall, Philly? And I know you and Ryan were really going on about it there one time. So
yeah, it was atrocious. Like, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, like, we are our own worst enemy, and like obviously not from myself, like not from the hunting perspective or the photography perspective, but just like to echo Barry, like you just gotta smarten the fuck up.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Just respect
Everybody's got a platform now.
respect the game.
Absolutely. Respect it, and you know what? And don't be my favorite. Don't be a douchebag. Anyways, everybody, that was episode 43 of the Union. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to the five of us just chew the fat, and we touched on everything from youth hunt to tours in Newfoundland.
Ters, yeah.
The tours. Thank you.
Turds.
As I always say, we are as advertised. We don't pretend to be experts. We don't pretend to be anything other than a group of friends that love one another's company, and we're just trying to share what bird hunting is, what duck hunting is.
Here.
I got to be careful on how I say that. So waterfowl hunting, that's all. And we need to share it. We need to get the word out. And however we can do it, we need to do it together. Big love, everybody. Hope to see you all next week. Cheers.